All right, Thursday, February the 11th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. Going to talk about the continuation of cold air and even colder air over the weekend. And also, I'm continuing to eye the winter storm potential for parts of the region on Monday. I really have not changed my thinking on this at all, but I'll give you the latest ideas here and show you some of the latest modeling here as today's edition of the video rolls along. Let's begin. Well, that's actually Greensboro's tower camera, but you get the idea. It's cold out there in Winston-Salem. The temperature's 20. It's clear and cold here as the day is beginning. The temperature is 15 in Greensboro, 13 in Boone, 20 degrees in Charlotte, 22 in Raleigh. It is a cold Thursday morning all across the region. Mountains are very, very cold as well early this morning. In fact, it's 4 in Banner Elk and 8 in Beech Mountain. A bit of a break from the snow for many mountain spots today. Still technically have winter weather advisories in effect up in Watauga, in Ashe counties on up into the Virginias, but not a lot of actual snow flying today, but there will be more snow tomorrow into tomorrow night. Another round of that snow rolling on through with accumulations likely in the mountains. Hey, ski conditions are pristine. That is the Appalachian Ski Mountain web camera early this morning. Look at all that groomed powder type of conditions waiting for you. The temperature there in Blowing Rock is 12, so bundle up as you're about to hit the slopes. So boy, hard to get much better ski conditions than what we have out there. Just fabulous conditions at all of the resorts across the region. Great stuff if you're headed up that way. Some snow showers in parts of the eastern part of the country. Again, a bit of a relaxation for the mountain snow today, but more will come tomorrow. Weak area of low pressure in the Mississippi Valley churning our way. Now, it will not have any impact on our weather today here in the Carolinas. We'll have a lot of sunshine and another cold day. Here's your Thursday afternoon high. Certainly very, very chilly today. Lows tonight, again, upper teens and lower 20s in many spots. Now, tomorrow, there's that area of low pressure, and as that scoots by, yes, I think some light snow in parts of the area as that low pressure rolls on through. And notice the snow tries to even consolidate a little bit over here in northeastern North Carolina. The North American model, the NAM, that is showing the same basic idea. And so let me show you what Futurecast is printing out for potential snow accumulations. And again, we're talking a dusting. Now, the ground is cold, so anything that really falls that's decently intense would stick. So maybe a dusting in parts of the Piedmont and the foothills. But again, I think tomorrow, your best bet of getting snow on the ground is actually in northeastern North Carolina, as that low pressure strengthens just a bit as it nears the coast. It's going to be a cold day once again tomorrow. There's your Friday highs, and then an even colder shot of air settles in over the weekend. Bitterly cold, dry Arctic air with us. Your Saturday high temperatures look like that. And then here's what we're going with for low temperatures on Sunday morning. And again, I think some of the normally colder Piedmont and foothill spots could very easily see some single-digit low temperatures. Now, here is what I'm going with, and this is my hand-drawn chart I drew yesterday, and I have not had to make any changes today. I think my thinking, or I should say my thinking, is really unchanged. Monday, we see precipitation arrive, in especially the favored cold air damming areas. This stays a wintry mix, some type of snow, sleet, or freezing rain event for a while, and then a lot of spots might try to kick over to rain before the system departs, but that is certainly not a certainty. Let me show you the 0Z run of the GFS, and I don't know that this is doing a horrible job representing things. There's its snow potential and sleet potential included within that, and there's the ice potential. Now, I'm going to show you some of the more detailed modeling here in just a second. All right, now the first chart I'll show you is the UK Med, and if you've been watching the products I've been putting out, either the videos or the tweets and Facebook posts I've been putting out, I've been saying most likely scenario was to toss the UK Met model. It was really wrapped up in Far West. It finally caved to the solution, at least the general idea that a lot of the other modeling is showing. So you can throw out that really wound up Far West solution. I'd already tossed it anyway, but now most modeling has gone away from that scenario. Let me show you what's happening aloft here, okay? Let's go, first of all, to the European model, and we'll go out to 126 hours here. This is valid Monday night. So this is the latest run of the European, and it's quite a bit different from the run yesterday aloft, okay? So this is what it looks like at 500 millibars. Now let's go back to the 12Z run yesterday. And notice it was a lot more bundled with this energy in the deep south. Now, I think you're seeing an adjustment of the European model, but I still don't really like how it handles things with its 0Z run. I still don't know that it's completely correct. Let me step you through what it has shown now with its most recent run. We'll go right here. Okay, this is the most recent run of the European. This is valid Monday evening as the precipitation moves in. Kind of no real definable surface low at that point in time. You go a little bit later. Let's see. Trying to find the right time frame. All right, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, there's your next time frame. This is overnight Monday night. And you kind of get a surface low try to form in the eastern Carolinas, but it's very weak and ill-defined and pretty warm overall. So again, I'm not thrilled with how the European run is, the most recent operational run is handling things. The Canadian, boy, I mean, it has been rock solid, consistent with this, and this could very well continue to be the right idea. Again, I showed you what I'm thinking with the surface low track, but just take a look at the Canadian model. This is Monday morning. You have this initial leaf of snow moving in, and if you've seen these type of events where you get some lift stretching out ahead of the developing storm system, a lot of times this little initial band can really put down some snow, and wherever that sets up, I think that is a possibility during the day Monday. Let's go out to let's say Monday early afternoon. There's your Canadian model representation. We go out to heading into Monday evening, and as warmer air aloft begins to creep in, you see snow kicking over to some sleet or freezing rain, depending on location and temperatures at the surface and just above the ground. 6 hours later, as you get into Monday night, it's a pretty good ice storm on the Canadian model. You go 6 hours later onto Tuesday morning, and you're still sub-freezing roughly I-85 in points north and west at the surface. And then finally, the system pulls away during the morning hours on Tuesday. And so on the Canadian model, you end up, and let me give me a second to resize this where you can see what we're looking at here. There is your snowfall accumulation map from the Canadian model. And then here is your ice accumulation map. Again, give me just a second to resize this where you can see it properly. There is your ice accumulation map. And again, that's a pretty significant ice storm, obviously, when you have totals like that on the Canadian. Again, I'm not saying that's correct, but that's what the Canadian has shown. Now, let me I'll go to the 0Z and then the 6Z run of the GFS, then I'll kind of lay out my thinking on this. All right, so let's go out to, first of all, I want to show you tomorrow. There's the 0Z run of the GFS tomorrow with that light snow rolling on through, and then there you are tomorrow evening. All right, but let's go out to Monday. Okay, so this is valid Monday morning. And again, this is the 0Z run. I really like what the 6Z run has done. I'll show you that in just a second. But there's the 0Z run last night's run rolling in. Let's see, you go out then to Monday evening. And there you go. That is a wintry mix of ice and sleet there over much of the favored cold air damming regions of North Carolina. 6 hours later, the surface low moves into central South Carolina, and pretty much everybody outside the mountains warms above freezing if you take that model verbatim and you kick over to rain. And finally, the system moving through and exiting Tuesday. All right, again, that was the 0Z run. Let me show you the very, very latest run of the GFS that just came in. And again, I kind of like how this is handling it. All right, so let's look right here. This is initially Monday morning, and that is that little fingerprint of snow that is generally pretty light. But again, you can get some snow on the ground that adds up pretty quickly, especially with the very cold, sub-freezing ground conditions we'll likely have in place. You go on out then to Monday early afternoon. The rates of precipitation are strengthening. That is snow along and north of, say, Raleigh, Concord, and points north in there. Some ice down into the upstate. You go 6 hours later, and that is a pretty significant ice storm underway on the GFS from upstate of South Carolina through Charlotte, to parts of the Triad and Triangle regions. 6 hours later, there comes a surface low. Surface temperatures begin to warm, but you're still below freezing in the Triad into the westernmost tip of the Charlotte area, and not Charlotte itself, but over toward Gaston and Cleveland counties. You go 6 hours later, and then there's your surface low, and everybody outside the mountains is basically warmed above freezing. And so you end up with precipitation type accumulations that look like that. And again, don't look at the exact amounts here. You just get the idea. Some rain and a lot of ice and some snow involved. Final thing I'll show you, and this is what the folks at the WPC are indicating with the surface low position valid there on Tuesday morning. And that's very much like what I've been laying out for a couple of days now in terms of the overall thinking. And the last thing I'll show you, I keep saying I'm going to show you one more thing. This is off of Weather Bell. There's your GFS snowfall and sleet accumulation off the latest run. I zoomed in at a more close perspective there into western North Carolina. That's what it's showing. And I don't know that that's doing a terrible job. And so, again, there's still plenty of details to iron out. My bottom line thinking here is that I think Monday you'll see a wintry mix move in. Looking fairly likely due to the initially cold, dry conditions in the upstate, up through a lot of the North Carolina Piedmont, even over toward Raleigh, probably initially some wintry precip. But as we get deeper into Monday, into the afternoon and evening, you're probably looking at the cold air damming areas. And when I say that, I mean roughly Interstate 85 points north and west. Those areas hold on to sub-freezing temperatures while temperatures aloft warm. And so you're looking at really an end to snow in many spots outside of the foothills and the mountains and kicking over to some freezing rain or sleet. And then as you get deeper into the night, it'll depend on the surface low track. And I'll go back to this chart right here. You'll see what kind of an in situ wedge develop. And what that means here is that the cold, dry air will kind of be locked in due to those very dry conditions in place and the evaporational cooling process. A lot of times you'll see low pressures try to slam right into that wedge, and it doesn't happen. It kind of redevelops over here to the coast. And I think that's very much a possibility. So in the most favored cold air damming spots, it wouldn't shock me at all if it stayed below freezing for the whole event. So we'll see. It could be a pretty high impact event for a lot of folks due to cold ground conditions. So we'll see how that all plays out. I haven't changed my thinking really at all, but that's a little bit more specific. I'll get a little bit more specific as we get closer to the event, but that's kind of what I'm thinking as of now. All right, that is it. Everybody have a great day. Again, to continue to stay warm, and God bless.